Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. John Mulaney was on Ted Danson's podcast. He told Ted that he was able to resist the temptation of grabbing his wife Olivia's cancer-related painkillers and other medication. John says the obsession of it was gone. I brought her a tray with apple juice, something that she wanted to eat, that her mom had made in the kitchen. And then it had OxyContin and some sort of nerve medication and a Xanax, which they also gave for just rest and recovery. It never crossed my mind that I was holding these medications in my hand. The obsession of it was gone. I thought, oh, I'm so far beyond that, and I can be a good butler with the best client. That's great. Great to hear about John. He says people stay the same in so many ways, and I'm still the same person I was when I was like 5 in so many ways, but I'll admit it's a huge change, just a huge way of looking at everything. I'm shocked I did it. I'm shocked I was able to do it. Danson was like, become sober, you mean? John said to actually stick to it in every way, to not have, well, I still do this, or, well, I'm trying, like nothing wrong or shameful about relapse. I mean, I'm just shocked always that it landed. Danson asked Mulaney if he can see triggers, quote, 2 miles out. Mulaney said, oh, yeah, I'm very lucky that life's been so great that it's always 30 miles out, but I'll be doing something to go, you really want to be this exhausted, stretched thin, a little aggrieved? Luckily, those things are miles and miles off. That's part of it. It's just always knowing. So addicted to the self-control of it in so many ways, and so happy that I'm always present when I'm with my kids and Olivia and friends and everything. I was in a bad neighborhood with my brain for a while. You always have respect for it, that it's still there. You go, I see you, I know you're there, but that's not my daily life. Good job, John Mulaney. That's awesome. Mike Birbiglia told Vanity Fair that writing this show, the one out on Monday, forced me to try to understand my dad, because if you don't see the humanity in the characters, it's not interesting. It's extraordinarily challenging when someone's had an acute stroke, but it's calmed him down. In my early specials, my dad would shout. He wouldn't even understand why. He'd be like, I'm eating pretzels. I'd be like, is he angry? Is he hungry? What's the emotion being expressed? In this special, I forced myself to unpack the emotion being expressed. He oddly doesn't have the edge or the weight of the world on him. He's sort of a protagonist. He's not evil. He's just a human being. I think that's my personal journey with him as well. Ronnie Chang recently became an American citizen. Congratulations. He joked about it, saying, anyone can apply for citizenship during Obama. That's easy. Golden age. Great. So apply now if you really want it. Do it now. And that's what I did. It's kind of 30 years in the making, in the sense I've been trying to come back to America since I left in 93 when I was 7 years old. I've been trying to come back to do stand-up comedy, and I finally came back in 2015, 10 years ago, and then citizenship 9 years later. And it's a weird time to do it, because the things that attracted me to America were Back to the Future. It was Seinfeld. It was Michael Jordan. It wasn't the Iraq War. So it's weird to join. It's like you're joining this evil empire, but that's not why you joined it. It just so happened the evil empire had some really nice TV shows, and they do stand-up comedy in the Death Star. That's really funny. Send your letters to Ronnie Chang. I turned down offers to tour overseas all the time. I've got no interest in it because I came from there. I've been trying to come here. So it makes sense for me to get citizenship, because if I do leave the country, I know I can come back to the stuff I've been building here. I came to The Daily Show at the end of 2015, so this Trump thing is all I've known. This isn't that new, to be honest. Since I came to America, the shadow's been looming or in charge. He's been talking crap for a long time now. We're used to him talking crap. He's been throwing chaos in the mix for a long time now. So in that sense, it doesn't feel like anything new in terms of coverage. Obviously, his efficacy is stronger now, undoubtedly, but in terms of The Daily Show, it's almost like being in an emergency room. You kind of get numb to it, because there's always a car wreck every day. It's something new coming in. It's something you have to comment on. It seems outlandish, but at the same time, it's been outlandish for 9 years. So is it outlandish? That's the feeling. Joe Coy, who once hosted the Golden Globes and told a joke about Taylor Swift, but we're not going to talk about that today. He delivered the keynote speech at Cal State LA's commencement ceremony. Coy told the students, it's not easy getting to where you want to go. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of falling flat on your face. And that's when you find out who you really are. That's when you build the grit, the heart, and the strength to keep pushing. Joe Coy was conferred an honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts. Words of wisdom from Joe Coy: no matter how many times you bomb, it doesn't matter. Just don't give up. Keep showing up. Keep believing in yourself. You don't need everyone to believe in you. Just you. Believe in you. And if there's a Lionel Richie impersonator that likes you too, that's also good. Rami Youssef gave the commencement speech at Rutgers. Rami accepted an honorary Doctor of Fine Arts. His parents were there, and Rami said to his parents, I just want you to know, part of why I dropped out was because of how expensive it was, and now I am here with a PhD that I got for free. I believe it's the greatest and the biggest Arab discount of all time. The Hollywood Reporter did a big roundtable with many comedians. I shared it in the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast group. By the way, boy, the porn bots are really trying to get in. A lot of spam lately. Luckily, you've got to answer 3 questions, and the porn bots don't answer any of the 3 questions. Plus, the admins help me keep the porn bots out. Thank you, admins. Anyway, I'll pick at this roundtable for the next few days. Seth Meyers talked about the hardest he ever bombed was at Madison Square Garden. It was that concert for Hurricane Sandy. They asked me and Bill Hader to do a Stefan thing, and Bill said, I'm not going to do it. And then they said, what about Bobby Moynihan as drunk uncle? So we'd written this thing. Chris Rock saw us backstage in costume, and he goes, you're going to follow The Who with sketches? All of the confidence drained out of our faces, and sure enough, we went out, and they were so angry. Stephen Colbert is going to be on a variant cover of DC Comics' upcoming Batman Superman World's Finest issue number 40. On the cover, Superman is guesting on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert as Batman stands against the city skyline backdrop. Superman is seen holding a cover of his book, I Am Superman, and So Can You. That is a joke referring to Colbert's Colbert Report era book, I Am America, and So Can You. Another cover for the issue reportedly depicts Batman and Superman in the clutches of late-night TV on the fictional late-night show Gotham Tonight. I wonder who hosts Gotham Tonight. I could probably look that up. I should look that up. Gotham Tonight was a 6-episode docuseries miniseries created and directed by Christopher Nolan, which was included in the special features for The Dark Knight. Anthony Michael Hall played Mike Engel. Some fun facts. Over the years, Marvel Comics has given the cover treatment to stars like Letterman, Kimmel, and the original SNL cast. I've got I think it's a What If. I've got a Letterman cover somewhere in the boxes in the back of the closet in the back of the basement, but I have that one. A 1963 issue of, there was a comic book for real called Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane. And a flashback depicts Lois Lane appearing on the Steve Allen Show. Steve Allen on the Mount Rushmore of late night. In case you missed Sunday's episode, go back and listen to it. I know it was a holiday weekend. I really liked that episode. Go back and listen to Sunday. The Mount Rushmore of late night comedy includes Steve Allen. Batman Superman World's Finest number 40, out June 18th. Let's stop off on Gossip Corner. Fortune.com was keeping an eye on Amy Schumer's real estate purchases, and they tell us when Amy wants to get away from New York, she flies to New Orleans, where she and her husband have invested in a second home in the French Quarter. Fortune tells us, though primarily based in Manhattan, where she moved recently after listing her Brooklyn townhome for $14 million. Schumer told Realtor.com that her New Orleans hideaway was her dream come true. Forbes estimates Amy Schumer's net worth to be $37.5 million. That sounds high. I believe it, but wow. Forbes tells us after finding wealth and fame, Amy set about investing in real estate, the first of which was the family farm she lived on as a child, but was forced to leave when her parents filed for bankruptcy. Another of her purchases is a $200,000 treehouse, which the listing site speculates is on the grounds of her home in Martha's Vineyard. Must be nice. All right, the BBC director of comedy, John Petrie, unveiled a bunch of new shows at the BBC Comedy Festival in Belfast. Some good stuff here and some names you will know even if you don't follow British comedy carefully. John Petrie said, the BBC continues to be the biggest single investor in original comedy content in the UK, and for the second year running, 8 of the top 10 scripted comedies were on the BBC. All right, let's take a look at the shows. Android, like A-N-N, new word, droid. Android stars Diane Morgan, who I love. You may know her from the various Kunk series. Diane Morgan stars as a social humanoid robot created to keep elderly people company and monitor their health. It's 2029. Sue's husband David passed away 18 months ago, and her only son Michael is moving out again to try to fix his marriage. But the good news is he got Sue a surprise to help her live independently, a care provider with the difference. The latest D500 social humanoid elder care robot. What develops is a buddy comedy between an older woman and her robot. Okay, that's fun. Bills Included, a typical sitcom punny name. Bills Included is about Bill. Bill is a middle-aged divorcee who staves off financial ruin by renting a spare room to students. Warm-hearted and eager, but neurotic and slightly overbearing, Bill is thrilled by the youthful energy his lodgers bring, but baffled by their indifference to his laminated house rules and color-coded cutlery. He's torn between wanting to be part of the gang, sharing banner, keeping up with trends, and clinging to his role as the responsible adult. Next up is Small Profits, a 6-part comedy created, written, and directed by Mackenzie Crook. Synopsis: a comic tale of eccentric Michael Sleep, who, since his darling Clea disappeared 7 years ago, has lived a very ordinary life. One day, his dad, Brian, shares an old recipe involving rainwater, horse manure, and a little alchemy. With the recipe in hand, Michael sets about to create a magical prophesying spirit that can predict the future, in the hope the spirit has the answer to his burning question, will I ever see Clea again? Boy, that's complicated but fun. Michael Palin of Monty Python fame is part of that one. In Stuffed, after he receives an unexpected 8,000-pound Christmas bonus at work, Arslan Faruqi and his multi-faith family set off on the trip of a lifetime when they swap Coventry for the magic of Lapland. His wife Hannah, his 2 daughters, and brother-in-law Jamie are all set for the ultimate festive adventure. However, you knew there was a however coming, right? When office worker Arslan discovers the bonus was a mistake and must be repaid immediately, Christmas chaos ensues. In The Reluctant Vampire, set in a timeless English village where everything is picturesque, everything except for the vampires living in the castle on the hill who come out at night for a little drink of the locals, Val has been raised in a very typical vampire family, but has always felt a bit different and hopelessly inept at rising to meet Dad's high standards. Following a surprise encounter with his reflection, he realizes he's not undead, not in the least bit. Now with a big secret to hide, Val must navigate finding out who he truly is by mingling with the locals to learn the intricacies of their behavior and what it means to be human. Well, that's fun. Aisling B has been hosting Who Do You Think You Are, which airs on BBC One. Her trip followed the well-established formula of a genealogy series renowned for reducing celebrities to tears as they find out about their ancestors. B finds out in Limerick that her mother's family were relative well-to-do landowners with 40 acres to their name in the late 19th century, which brought the unwelcome attention of the dispossessed and less fortunate. In Kerry, she learns her father's family grew up in different circumstances. Her great-grandfather was a member of the Volunteers and was set to participate in the 1916 Rising until it was called off when a German blockade running vessel failed to deliver the promised arms stash. More British stuff. A distinctive license plate belonging to late comedian Jethro sold for £30,500 at an auction. It was a personalized license plate, J35TER. Have you figured it out? J35TER. It's like Jester, but different. J35TER. Harvey Pyle from Stag's Auctioneers was expecting it to go for $12,000. He said it's a very unique piece of comedic history. It was also seen on his Toyota Land Cruiser on his final journey. It was carried to his coffin for his funeral. From PokerNews.com, your home for poker news. Lodge Card Club co-owner Doug Polk is set to appear on Kill Tony. This may have already aired. Tony Hinchcliffe shared a story about meeting Polk for the first time. Tony said, "I'm good at poker," and said to Polk, "I'll play you heads up." The bet was that if Polk won, he'd earn a minute to perform on Kill Tony, but if Tony won, Polk would owe him $20,000. Tony tells the story. There we were at Mitzi's Comedy Club after an episode playing heads-up poker. Me versus the best in the world. 20 minutes later, guess who won $20,000? Since it had only been 20 minutes, I said, I'll tell you what, even though I won, let's double or nothing. $40,000 versus a minute of stand-up comedy. And any day now, he's going to be popping up on the show. And that is your comedy news for today. Pretty robust week here coming off of Memorial Day. I'm enjoying it. The story's been a little different. That's always fun for me. If you would like the program without commercial interruption, if you're on Apple Podcasts, click where it says uninterrupted listening. If you're not on Apple Podcasts, go to calaroga.com/plus. The short version for $5 a month. No ads, no feed drops, just the show. And it's a great way to support the show for just $5 a month. I appreciate you supporting the show, and I'll see you tomorrow.